So here, this is black to play. You might have to flip the board on your end. Well, black came up with a combination. Their idea was to go queen h2 check, king f2, and then bishop takes g4. And now the point here is, well, number one, if fg, there's knight e4 check, and white's king is in big danger. If king runs away, then queen takes g2, black wins the piece back, totally winning. If king f3, then there's knight g5 check. Black can also play a move like f5, and then the idea is just to put a rook on f8, take this one, and white's king is again just basically getting mated here. If hg, then the point is queen h4 check. King is forced to go back to g1, and now bishop h2 leads to mate. Okay. But after black took on g4, here white started thinking, and they realized, well, hg is bad, I'm getting mated. Fg is also very dangerous. There's knight e4. So let's think about it from white's point of view. What other move can white consider here? Because black just took a pawn. So if white just does nothing, then the game is also kind of over because black took one pawn, threatening to take a second pawn. So let's say white can't really take back on g4, but what other moves can white consider here?
What is this?
Rook h1, exactly, very good. And rook h1 actually kind of kills black's attack. Because now let's say queen moves back, white takes the piece, black doesn't get enough.
Yeah.
So going back to this position, let's say after the game, black realized, oh, I should have taken here first when white doesn't have this rook h1. Because now, however way white takes, now I'll go queen h2, and then I get all the same ideas, right? So if hg, we have queen h2 once again, queen h4, and it's game over. And if fg, then again, queen h2, knight e4, and yeah, super strong attack with f5 or knight g5 check, also good, like taking here, and white's position is also collapsing. Like you can go back and this one again, and yeah, game over. Now in a blitz game, I would imagine that most players, they play this move first, and then they start calculating here, and then maybe they find bishop takes g4, and who knows what might happen. Maybe white finds rook h1, maybe they don't, etc. But of course, it's like, this is where the calculation should start, right? Not once you commit with queen h2 check. This is where you should kind of plan things out. And so it is very like kind of, hopefully a simple example of like, you kind of have to think about things ahead of time. Otherwise, you're committing to something. You're committing to bringing the queen to h2. And then once you get here, well, now it's already too late to realize like, oops, I should have started with bishop takes g4. Right? So it's like a question of the move order. So this is, again, the type of thinking that, again, very hard to do in a blitz game unless you're a very experienced player and you have really quick calculation. But in a classical game, if you have 25 minutes here, you have some time to kind of sort through the variations and look for different options. So the general rule of thumb that a lot of coaches try to instill is like when you make a move, you want to kind of anticipate what the opponent is going to do. At least you have some expectation of how the opponent will react. And then you have your follow-up to that, right? Or if, let's say, you think the opponent might respond 2 or 3 different ways, then you have a follow-up to each of those moves as well. Now, if you want to go deeper, you can go deeper, of course, but that's kind of that's the starting point. So it's like, instead of calculating one move ahead, we ask you to try to look 3 moves ahead. And then again, if you can go deeper, definitely go deeper, right? Because sometimes many times that's not going to be enough to really fully investigate the position. But if we're only playing like one move at a time, like we're just, let's say playing the first move, we can find, then it's like, it's a gamble, right? Because you might end up in a position where you no longer have good moves, or you might realize like, oh no, I missed my chance. I could have done something different earlier. And now it's too late.
What was this game?
Sorry?
What was this game? Who was the players?
I have no idea. It's just an example I got from a book. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is a real game, but in fact, I'm not even sure if I got the story right. I think in the game, Black might have played this one, but I think it's very, very easy to imagine someone playing check and takes first.
Okay.
Let me give you another example just to kind of maybe practice this skill a little bit. Yeah, let's take a look at this one.
Are we looking at it for Black or for White?
We're looking at this one from Black's point of view.
Okay.
Let's say you have this position with Black, and you're considering the move Queen D2 with the mate threat.
Yes.
So first, let's ask, how is White going to respond to this one?
Let's try this.
Oh, the Rook F2. Good. Yeah, that would be kind of the first defense I would consider. Okay, so Black was kind of thinking during this game, like, okay, if I go Queen D2, White has Rook F2. Then I can go maybe Queen D1 check. White has to go back. And then I have this move F2.
Okay.
So what's the point of F2? Well, Rook can't take. Rook is pinned. If King takes, not sure how comfortable you are with the visualization, but Black has Rook takes F5 in that position. So Rook takes F5 check, and then Rook on F1 will be hanging. So let's say here, check, and F2. Nice shot. If King G2, there's just Queen F3 mate. So King takes, Rook takes F5, and Black wins. Black is winning a piece, breaking through, and White is, at least losing the Rook, but maybe even getting mated soon.
Yeah.
So this line is working. And based on this line alone, a lot of players would probably just play Queen D2 and expect to win. But on Queen D2, there's a second defense. Maybe you could try to find it for White. How else can White deal with the mate threat?
We don't have any pieces.
White is a pretty...
No, in this area, in the area of the king.
I know. Queen, Rook, everything is kind of misplaced. There's another way to cover the G2 square.
No, we can't cover with the knight, but we just take it.
Yeah, knight e3 is no good, but there's another direction.
Here.
Knight h4. Okay, exactly. Knight h4 is not an easy move to see because it's like a backwards move. It's very illogical, but it is findable. And so Black realized, okay, well, if I go Queen D2, okay, Rook F2 is winning, but Knight H4, I don't know exactly how I'm breaking through there. So based on that, what move could you start with in order to kind of make this combination work? You take first. Yeah, exactly. Now, if we just see the same line, like let's say E takes F5, Queen D2 check, Queen D2, Rook F2 now only move, Queen D1 check, Rook F1. And again, we have F2 here, going back to the other variation and winning the game. And so, again, it's just another type of example where it's like no top player sees this position and like, oh, Rook takes F5 is the move. No one thinks like that. They don't just like intuitively guess. What they do is they look at, let's say, the most direct move. They understand that like maybe there's some detail why it's not working, Knight H4. Then they kind of work their way backwards to this position. They go, aha, I guess I should start with this one first, actually. But this wouldn't be like the first candidate move, for a lot of players. Or if it is, then it would be combined, let's say, with like queen e3 check because they want to give this check or something and make that work. But for many decisions made at the chessboard, it's often not the player's first instinct. A lot of times the first instinct is close, but it's not quite there, or it's wrong. But like kind of by doing that analysis, you slowly come to the right solution because you realize that there might be one very accurate move order to do things. And if we're just playing like, let's say, one move at a time, then it's a big risk we're taking that it might not work out in the end. I have many examples like this I could show you. But hopefully it's making sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks, Daniel, for joining me.
Thank you, Kostya.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye, everyone.
All right, see you, y'all.